Well, it's been a long time since Eddie has given us a thumbs up, and I've been in the studio, and he's been in there, and then Al's been in the studio because it's been a summer of crap. But here we are, September 2nd. Al, what's up?
Oh, hi, Jerry. It's good to be back here on the
Is it though?
podcast. Yeah, no,
Good.
I do like doing the podcast.
Very nice.
That came out wrong.
That didn't sound
That
great.
just came out the wrong way. Well, we all know I don't like answering your phone calls.
I know.
Like
And
the
waking up in the
callers.
middle of the night.
Yeah, those
I
things.
know.
I like doing this. By the way, I wrote a couple of notes down while I was gone. I want to know your thought on this. So I went to see, if you go to like a bar, see a band, right?
Sure.
Bar band. So sometimes you wonder, like, there's a lot of people in the band, right? And you go,
How are they getting paid?
yeah, like how much are they even getting for this gig? And
Sure.
so this one band I went to go see, I was up in Highlands must have
And
been
you
over the
didn't call.
weekend. I didn't know where I was in Highlands. I didn't know it was that close.
You were at a proving ground, were you?
No, we were at, no, I have no idea where. I don't know.
Oh.
It was some place that was right on the water, had like a deck.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a band there called Remember Jones.
Okay.
Okay. They had like a horn section. And all I kept wondering was, do you think they pay the horn section?
Yeah, of course.
You think so?
Well, what are they out there for? Doing it for just because they like blowing horns?
Yeah. Here's my theory on that. My theory is that these are guys that play the horns. They can't really, like, they are horn players. They probably do this just for fun.
Will work for food?
Yeah. Like they probably work for,
I don't know,
drinks, food, and the possibility of meeting chicks.
How old were they?
They looked like they were in their 30s.
Oh, young.
40s.
See, when I hear horn players, I think guys
No,
that are 70
No,
now.
these were younger guys, younger horn
I still
players.
think they're getting paid something.
Yeah.
Even if it's how many of them there were there?
There were, I think, 3 or 4 horn guys in addition to...
Even if they got $200 and they split, got 50 each. I mean, something. And food. It's like,
yeah.
You got to give them... Like, what
Drinks,
do you think
food.
a bar band gets?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. Like, there was no cover for this either. So whatever the venue was paying them to attract people.
What was the name of them again?
Remember Jones. No, Remember Jones.
Remember Jones?
Jones, yeah.
Is he related to Basketball Jones?
That's a great question. I don't know. I don't know if Remember Jones is related to Basketball Jones.
Let's see. So they were in...
They're a popular local band. Like, they'll play like Count Basie Theater.
Yeah.
This was, the bar had to be paying them.
August 31st, the Seafarer.
That was it, the Seafarer.
I don't know the Seafarer. Where the hell is that?
Right on the water there in Highlands.
I don't know.
Very cool little spot.
That's interesting. Okay, no, that looks cool, actually.
But yeah, I was just wondering, like, if you play the horns, if you play a horn,
yeah,
and a band but you got to guess they have to be rehearsing because it's a full band with horns.
Yeah, that's why, to me, I don't think there's any doubt they got to get something. I mean, otherwise, you're just giving away your time.
And like sometimes the Kirk and the Jerks, when they play, sometimes they have horns also.
Right. I mean, I would say, number one, what's the going rate for a good shore band, whether it's Long Island Shore or the Jersey Shore?
Yeah.
And then two, like, how do you divvy it up? How many people were in the band? Forget the horns. How many people in the band?
There was the singer who didn't play an instrument. So singer, rhythm guitar, probably lead guitar, bass, drums.
5 guys.
And then at least 3 horns. There was like 8 people.
So they getting $2,000?
And there was then there was a woman who also sang with them.
Yeah, they have to be getting, I don't even know what the number would be. $2,500, I don't know. 10 grand, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. Maybe someone could tell us.
I know a friend of mine was it the Brian Kirk and the Jerks you just mentioned? Was it them? What are the other famous Jersey Shore bands?
Big Orange Cone. That was many years ago.
Them.
Fuzzy Bunny Slippers.
No. Fuzzy Bunny Slippers?
Yeah, that was a band.
I remember Big Orange Cone. They actually had released an album. It must have been Brian Kirk and the Jerks because at a wedding, a friend of mine hired them. They were $10,000 to play the wedding.
Who's that band you see sometimes down
Lightspeed.
Yeah, Lightspeed.
I like them a lot. I think they're very good. I think the horn players are getting paid something.
Can someone reach out to me on the DM and tell me how much you get paid as a band and whether you have to pay the horn players or you tell them, listen, you're going to meet some chicks. We'll give you drinks and food.
A friend of mine owns a bar. I could probably ask him what he pays bands. They don't do that often, but they do it once a month or so, maybe twice a month. I wonder what the budget is for that.
Yeah.
And also, you're going to pay a band. You got to make sure people come in and see them.
Yes, right. You got to promote it.
Yeah.
And they have to promote it on their socials.
Because then you never want them to come back if no one shows up.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting business.
Yeah, it was interesting because there was no cover, like I said. Now, normally, and this is a band that I've seen play at like Count Basie, or I haven't seen them, but I know they play at Count Basie Theater.
So this is the type of thing where you go to have dinner and they're playing. You go to stand up and watch.
You go to
them.
stand and it was like a beach bar with just drinks,
and people are drinking.
People are drinking.
See, they're making a lot of money on the bar, so that makes sense. There's also a place called Jake Bob's in Union Beach, which I hadn't gone to in years. And I went there a couple of weeks ago because friends wanted to go. They got a band. It's so funny. So we walk in and the place is packed. It's on the water, even though the water is kind of blocked by the dunes. You can't really see the water, but it's got a really cool shore vibe to it. And so we walk in, the place is mobbed. No idea where our friends are. We later found them around the other side of the bar. But as we're walking in, we're trying to look. And a couple of friends we knew saw us, stopped us. And it was cool. There were 3 or 4 people that came over to say hello to me. So I'm talking to this one guy and the band's playing or whatever. And I'm having this conversation. He loves Boomer and Geo, goes back to the Boomer and Carton days, blah, 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 blah. He's, hey, man, I got to get going, though. Great to meet you. I'm like, yeah, no, nice to meet you, too. Takes 3 steps away and starts singing with the band again. He was the lead singer. I would love to know, like, what they pay, because those guys were there. We got there at 6:30. When we left at 9, they were still going strong and supposedly we're supposed to be there till 1. So they got to pay them. You're talking 5-6 hours of playing with a couple of breaks. It's got to be significant.
Yeah. And I'm just wondering, like, specifically the horn guys, because you could still play a great show with your bass, guitars, and drums.
Sure.
So if you're saying, hey, I'm going to bring a horn section in.
Do they play Chicago type music? Because that's the only band I ever think of that's popular with the horns.
Yeah. You know what? It's a lot of, like, if you think about what people now call yacht rock, that's 70s, there's a lot of horns, believe it or not.
So let me ask you this. The audience, a lot of 50s, 60s, and 70-year-olds?
It was older. It was an older crowd. Not because of Remember Jones. I think because of where they were. I think this bar was like an older bar.
Sure, could be.
I felt young, Jerry.
I know, I hear you. Oh, it was really an older crowd.
I was like, look at me being the young fella here.
Good for you. Any chicks hitting on you?
No chicks hitting on me. I was with 2 chicks.
They were there with their grandchildren.
Perhaps.
It's possible.
Yeah.
That does seem like, I know there are headaches when you own a bar. I know that. But it does seem like when you have a good, fun night, it's got to be a blast.
Yes.
The headaches are headaches, and I'm sure the lawsuits there are when you're dealing with alcohol and people. But it's got to be when you have a cool night, good weather, you got a good band, and the people are happy. It seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Did seem like it was a good time. I enjoyed for the time I was there.
Next time you're in the Highlands, let me know.
Okay. I did.
Gone.
I was like, maybe I could live in the Highlands, but the Highlands is like the Highlands in like that Seabright area.
Yeah.
Very thin with water on both sides.
Very much so.
So you can be flooded out there.
The Highlands, though, Highlands, you don't have to worry about the flooding because you're much higher than the water. You're talking about Atlantic Highlands.
I put into realtor.com the Highlands because I saw condos right near where I was, and they're in flood zones.
I understand. But if you go up, if I'm going to the Highlands from 36 coming from the north, there are places you can live there where you are elevated high.
Okay.
Then there are other places for sure that are
the lowlands.
Water level. Yes. Oh, there's no doubt. And Seabright's great, but I used to work in Seabright, as you know, and man, those floods were just horrific.
Yeah.
And they've learned. A lot of those houses have been rebuilt and built up.
Yeah. And I'm sure Long Island has similar things,
sure.
Right? Where there's these places on the water that are floodable because you've got, water on both sides of the strip of land. And I got to tell you, I watched that Hurricane Katrina documentary.
I watched the first 2 episodes. I can't imagine watching the third. Yeah,
the third is more of almost like where are we now?
Oh, is that what? I started watching it. The guy's just talking and talking. I'm like, all right, I'm out.
It was more of like Spike Lee interviewing people.
Oh, is that okay?
Episode 3.
I saw the first 2 episodes though.
Yeah, what'd you think of that?
I think what I always think. I cannot believe people were rolling cameras.
Yeah,
as they might be about to die.
Which is interesting too, because I thought similar thing. I was like, okay, when was this? 2005, 20th anniversary. Then I put in, when did the first iPhone come out?
Okay.
2007.
Yeah. These were I felt like these were VHS
Yeah,
cameras.
VHS cameras.
Yeah. It was amazing to me actually seeing the footage. Here's what I remember about Katrina. And this goes back to how long I've been working here. I remember the day before that storm hit. I was at the radio. I was at FAN in Astoria. I was in the newsroom with Bob Usler. And if you remember, I'm sure we had the 4 TVs up. One always had like ESPN news on, and then who knew what the other 3 would be? One of them had, I think it was CNN, and they had the special report on the storm. And I remember, it's so vivid as you watch the documentary when they show the eye of the storm and how wide and enormous the storm was. I remember Bob Usler going, "Holy crap, New Orleans might not exist in a few days." I was like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Hey, Rec, come over here and look at the size of this thing," meaning the storm. And when it was upgraded to a Category 5. And then I remember the next day when it hit, you were kind of wondering. I don't remember it that bad, though. I didn't realize that people were sitting on their roofs and not sure if even that was going to be good enough.
For days.
I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah. A couple
Scary.
things. Yeah, it was, what I don't understand is how it got back to normal, right? Like,
Time.
right, like, how much time did that take?
Remember Sandy, what happened
Right.
here in New York, in Brooklyn.
And Jersey Shore, Long Island.
Sure. In
Shore.
Brooklyn, you lost an entire little community that I think has been time. That's the only answer is time. If you look at the World Trade Center, you drive
Right.
down there now, it's beautiful what they did. You go back 20 years ago, how the hell did they rebuild it and clean it up?
Our ability to clean up and rebuild something is incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The will to want to continue and the perseverance.
Yeah, it was just like, and I remember, because I was trying to figure this out. That was 2005, August of 2005. And we started here, Boomer started here in 2007.
Right.
And in that first year, we traveled with Boomer to a Monday night game.
Yeah.
Me, Craig, and Boomer in New Orleans. And we took a tour of the Ninth Ward.
Did you really?
Yeah, just a driver. Boomer hired a local guy to take us around. And it was still in devastation mode.
I'm sure.
And that was 2 years later.
Right.
But now they're just people walking around the neighborhoods.
Which also makes you wonder too, knowing what happened means it can happen again.
Yes.
And I know they rebuilt the levees and all that, but how would you ever feel confident or comfortable being there knowing, especially every year you have hurricane season, that could happen again?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, even looking in a place in New Jersey and now looking in the flood zones and looking. And I think the answer for that is that's where you can afford to live. And that's the part that sucks, right? So it's like, okay,
right.
I could afford to live here. This is a flood zone and I could be screwed in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because it feels like they were talking in that Hurricane Katrina documentary about a previous hurricane that had come through about 20
Irene,
years.
right?
It wasn't
No,
Irene.
not Irene. Yeah, the one in 1965.
Yeah, like
I forget.
Barbara or Bethel or
Betsy.
Betsy.
Yeah.
It was Betsy. It sounded like the same thing happened where the levees broke. And then here we are again, Hurricane Katrina. And now guess what? We're 20 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Now what?
Yeah. How about that hotel that all the windows blown out?
Yeah.
Like, I would have thought I'd be safe there. No, not even remotely safe. Scary stuff.
I just can't believe how some people remain so calm.
Yeah.
In the face of adversity.
Okay. How about the one video or film, whatever it was, of the woman who was shooting in the attic? The little girl is smiling. Like, and the woman next to her is a grown woman. She doesn't even look fazed by it.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, I don't know that I would be able to stay that calm.
I will say this documentary was one of the first times. I don't, whenever I hear people say, oh, this is racist, that's right. I normally tune out. I'm like, everything's not racist. Yeah. There were a lot of things in here.
Just felt it.
That did feel like, even just the way they were calling people looters, where they had no food, nowhere to go.
I know.
And there's a grocery store.
Right.
You have to go in there
They've
and
been
take
starving for literally starving for 3 days.
Yeah, how are you not going in there?
Especially you got kids.
And then they send in, like, the military out with guns to stop people from eating food, like, that was crazy to
How
me.
about the one claim? That's why the army general came out
Yeah, that guy
smelling
was
like a rose
cool.
when they got the video. And I know he knows the camera's on him, but
Yeah.
still the way he's demanding they put their guns down and treat these people right, and knock it off with I guess the show of force and all that. Um, the one, and I don't know, this is a stretch and maybe it is, maybe it's not. I'm not sure. But like when they talk about hearing the blasts to make sure that the water went there and not to the downtown district.
Well, that's what they said about
Man,
Hurricane Betsy,
that is
that the
brutal.
conspiracy back then
Yeah.
was that they blew up the levee so that it would flood the poor neighborhood as opposed to the
I tell
downtown
you,
where the businesses
if
are.
someone ever made that decision and they live their life with that on their conscience, good luck. That's tough,
That
man.
was wild.
That is really tough. So I agree with you. A lot of it, sometimes no matter what race or what controversy we have, a lot of times I really do try to look at both sides. And I'm with you. So I'm like, come on, let's not make something out of nothing. Watching this, I kind of felt like you did.
Yeah, and they even showed that was crazy. They showed, like, a newspaper headline, and they showed, looters, and it was, like, a black
Mhm.
family, and then in another one, it was a white couple, and it said, "Couple finds food along." Yeah, it was I was like,
Yeah, I don't
"Damn."
actually, it's funny. I don't remember that. I might have, there was a part that was in part two, I imagine.
Yeah,
Because in part two, I dozed a couple of times.
yeah. I was like, "Wow, that
The
is."
first one I was locked in. The second one I was good. I think I missed about 6 or 7 minutes where I fell asleep on the couch. I might have missed that part.
Yeah, thank God that military dude came in
Yeah, there's no doubt.
because the mayor was way in over his head,
Nagin.
as I would be.
He seemed like he had, I remember going back to, I mean, again, you talk about how long ago this was. I remember Imus blasting Ray Nagin for the way that whole thing was being handled. And when I say Imus, like the whole crew, like Charles McCord used to read the news every morning, and they just crushed him for the way things were handled. And the woman too, the mayor,
Sure,
or
she
she
must
was
have
the
been the governor,
governor, the
yeah.
governor. Like I remember they would come on, and the two of them, they just were crushing them. And it's like, yeah, it was a bad scene.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Bad
was
scene.
wild. It was a very eye-opening documentary.
No question. No
Yeah.
question about it. Very sad.
Yeah, but again, like, I'm like, "Man," and yet that city recovered.
Yeah.
They
And right. So I went with you guys in '09, and it was vibrant.
Oh, the Super Bowl
And
was there, right?
of course.
We
Oh,
went to
yeah.
one of the Super
Yeah.
Bowls, right?
I did.
Well, I
We
mean, we
did.
went
That's
to
right.
we went Super Bowl week.
But you're right. We went Super Bowl week, but also we had the one Monday night game where Lepresti came,
Yeah.
Bob Dwyer. We did the show on the radio station the next
Yes.
morning. And that was when Craig couldn't get us into the restaurant, but Boomer could.
Yeah.
And I remember the place was packed.
Packed.
Packed. Yeah, pretty crazy.
Then they talked about how, just that they didn't get people out because a lot of people didn't have automobiles, and
Right.
then they stopped running buses. So, okay, how are we getting out?
How about the fact they ran out of gas and people are pushing their cars down the interstate?
Yeah.
Like, what?
But I feel like we are like one like that could happen anywhere near water.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we experienced Sandy.
Yeah.
I mean, we had devastation like that in certain parts. I mean, where I live, very lucky because the water is not, I don't live on I don't want to say I'm beachfront. I'm not, but the water is not far from me. So to sit there and say something like that couldn't have ravaged the town I live in, of course it could have, got lucky. A lot of people in New Orleans did get lucky.
Right.
The people in other parts of New Orleans, not so lucky.
Yeah.
But you're right. It could happen but you know what? Anything can happen anywhere. You can be up in a mountain town where you don't have to worry about oceans, but you could have monster blizzards. You see some of the footage if you live in Buffalo, what they go through in the winter with storms that will dump 4 feet of snow on them. There's something everywhere.
Wildfires, tornadoes,
Earthquakes in California with the
Yeah.
wildfires. Monsoons in Florida, along with the crazy hurricanes. Like there's something everywhere.
Yeah.
You just gotta hope you're ready to handle it. I
Right, 'cause
don't know.
Even if you're in the middle of nowhere, Kansas,
Sure. Tornadoes. Yes.
they just show up
Correct.
wreaking havoc.
Better have a good basement and a lid.
Yeah.
It is pretty crazy.
Also, though, it's funny in the documentary, they made the point, maybe this was in the third episode, they made the point where all these people came in to move to New Orleans once it was they were putting up new buildings
Yeah.
and new neighborhoods. Like, oh, then like the hippies would come move in. And we want to come here for the culture of New Orleans. And then they're calling the cops on a little kid playing a trombone in the street. They're like, that's the culture of New
That's
Orleans
New
that you
Orleans,
wanted
jackass.
to come to.
Oh my God.
I was impressed by little kids playing the horn. Speaking
Yeah.
of horns, tying this all together, Jerry.
It's funny because I was watching it with my wife, and even she said at one point, she goes, "Boy, we are all so different based upon how we were raised and where we grew up."
Yes.
Like that whole New Orleans experience is life for so many people. For others, that's a vacation just to see it.
Right.
But then you go back to what your normal is. There are people in New Orleans that probably come to New York City just to see the enormity of it, but then go back to what they do. The food they eat is so different than the food it is amazing how you can be in this country and live a completely different life 6 or 7 different ways.
Yeah. And the other thing that, especially in the beginning of trying to watch the documentary, the accent of which the people of Louisiana,
hard to understand in the beginning,
both black and white.
Oh, yeah. It took me a few minutes to kind of adapt.
Yes.
And I rewound a couple of times. I'm like, I don't know what she just said.
And
That's
then,
funny you bring that up.
I love Theo Vaughn, the podcaster, comedian. He's from Louisiana. There are times he's doing the podcast and he gets into one of his things. I'm like, what is I don't understand what you're saying.
Right. And I guarantee you they say the same thing about someone that's got the really deep New York, Brooklyn accent.
Yes.
Forget about it. What does that mean? What? Right? I mean,
yeah,
it's very different.
And you're right. We're in the same country.
Sure.
We have all these different dialects.
Mm-hmm. How about going down to Texas? That dialect is different than Louisiana.
And Boston. They got a terrible accent.
Much different than New York, And then even California's got a different way, much more, I would say, down the middle. But there's a different type of twang to the way they talk too. It's different everywhere. It's different. Again, that's why I'm always amazed when we talk about people that have moved from city to city, how they've lived these different lives within their one life, and how a lot of people end up growing up in a house, maybe buying their parents' house or moving close to them until they get older. It's like, wow, your whole life was spent here. Like, there's a whole world out there.
Yes.
And a lot of people never experience it.
Yeah.
And then it's over.
And then you're dead.
Sadly. We had someone on, I told Eddie last week. There was last Sunday morning, I know we got to go. I was going around getting the bagels. We had the public affairs show on. It was someone from 1010 Wins doing this show. All they were talking about was aging gracefully because you're close to the end. I'm like, I got to go get these clips. I'm not the only one talking in reality. Like, this was on our air. It was like 6:52 2 Sundays ago. I'm like, and I just remembered it thinking about this. It was a drop after a drop after a drop. I'm like, see, it's not just me.
Talking about death.
Yeah, they were pretty much.
All right, Jerry, let's do the warm-up show. We did that today at 5 a.m. and we'll be back tomorrow at 5 a.m. on a Wednesday with the warm-up program.
Sir.
Until then, see ya.